podcasting from Northwest Pennsylvania. You're listening to the Gen Extra Podcast, a show about Generation X, movies, technology, weird news, and anything else they feel like. Join them every Monday morning. Now, here's your hosts, Dave and Joe.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. We have some updates happening. I know we've been kind of teasing along for a while on what we're doing with the show. Well, we have some good news, bad news. Don't worry, the bad news isn't that bad. Good news is we are going to be returning to a weekly format. I wish I had an applause button for that. With that said, the bad news is it is not with the Joe that you remember. Now, remember I said the bad news isn't that bad. So, Joe, our host that you have known for 170 some odd episodes, is stepping back from the show only in the way of not doing as many shows. So we were trying to kind of reconstruct the show in a way that I found to be a little bit challenging for me for scheduling stuff like that, because we were trying to get guests on, and that became really difficult for me in my busy season. And Joe as well, his kids are getting older, and he's finding himself, not being able to put forth the effort that he wanted to put forward to the show every single week. So he is pulling back the reins some. We will still see him, hopefully at least once a month. And with that said, Breeze, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes, there he is.
I had it in the wings. I had it waiting for me.
Yeah. So we, Breeze, you and I talked, and I started looking for someone to not necessarily, replace Joe, but I needed somebody that was going to be, willing to take on the weekly podcast with me. And you were more than delighted to accept the offer.
Absolutely. I remember when you and Joe first mentioned you were going to do this podcast, and it is flabbergasting to me that it is 178 episodes. And it's just awesome. And I've been listening, and I called in a few times and joined you guys a few times. And
yeah, you were on the show a few times. I did early on too.
Really early. I think you told me it was episode 3, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that long ago.
Yeah, it was like a few years ago.
So time flies when you're having fun or making a podcast. So here we are, 170 some later. Yeah, it was very exciting. No, I like the idea, and I'm excited to be here. Believe me.
Yeah, me too. So a couple things that came up was when we originally talked about it, it hadn't even crossed my mind, but you're like, hey, you won't even have to rebrand the show because your first name is Joe.
my actual birth name is Joe.
Yeah.
Known to everyone, including Dave, as Breeze.
Yes. And I just fully assume that your wife even calls you Breeze.
Only when she's mad at me.
Right. Breeze.
Yeah, exactly.
But actually, before we by the way, we do have a show planned for today, which is fun. We're not just coming on to tell you this news and leave. We do have a show. So we are going to get into that.
That'd be funny if we just did that and be like, okay,
yep. All right, later.
See you next week. No.
Yeah, but I want our faithful audience to kind of get to know you a little bit before we get rolling here. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
What is your full name and social security number? No, I'm just kidding.
Breezicus. No.
Breezicus.
It's Roman.
Oh, nice. So, like I said, back to the intro with the Joe thing, which worked out perfect. The show, or the intro, does say coming to you from Northwest Pennsylvania or something like that, broadcasting.
So I was thinking about that, especially today as we heard the intro, and I'm like, well, I'm just very far Northwest Pennsylvania. I'm so far Northwest Pennsylvania that I slightly crossed the border out of Pennsylvania. So yeah, but that's okay. I think you should leave it anyway. Yeah, because I'm from Northwestern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you grew up here.
Yeah. I really did. I spent the majority of my life in Northwestern.
I consider that to be still Northwest PA because it's in your roots.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not like you moved to Cleveland when you were like 5. Like you were here through your formidable years, teenagers and into college.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Up until I think it's about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
into your 30s then, right?
Into my 30s. Yes.
Yeah. You're Northwest PA. You're just hanging out in Ohio.
exactly.
But
for now.
we did agree though. If you looked from space, hey, you're pretty much Northwest PA.
Pretty much.
Our dots are touching almost from space.
Hey, you know what? Satellites don't see state lines.
That's true.
So,
Yeah. But all right. So aside from your living arrangements,
my arrangements, I'm in Cleveland. Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently that counts.
Yeah. So let's kind of dive in a little bit. Like, you're a married man. You have kids. You have a full-time job. We'll obviously find out lots of details about you during the show.
Over the course of it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, brief intro. Yeah, married, 2 kids. We've been married 18 years.
Dang, boy.
So I know, right? Yeah. It's honestly, it's great. Got the 2 kids. They're both in school. One's a bit older, and one's gonna just finish kindergarten. And I moved to Cleveland about 8 years ago for work, and been here for that time and digging it and hanging out and still hanging out with my Northwestern PA folks whenever I can.
Yeah, we do enjoy Cleveland when we come over. It's a nice city. I think you and Jarzeb even did the Erie versus Cleveland episode a long time ago.
We did. Yeah, it was a good time. And it was kind of fun comparing the two places. And it is a bit of a different experience. I still have family coming in because we do have different things, right? We've got professional sports teams. We've got, a big zoo. So there's things like that where, friends of ours which also have, younger or middling families come, oh, hey, we'll go to the Cleveland Zoo. And when they're in town, they'll let us know, hey, we're going to be in your area. And kind of like you did, oh, hey, we're going to be in the Cleveland area. You want to just meet up? And
that's that happened that one night. I literally texted you. I'm like, where were we at?
I'm in your city. You were in the vault.
The vault,
and I was at work, and you randomly were like, "Hey, we're in this place called the vault," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm 6 blocks away. I'm just gonna walk down and say hi."
Yeah, that was a fun night.
It was pretty cool.
But so how did you and I officially meet? I'm sure it had to be over video games.
This is yes, absolutely. So I have 2 major hobbies, I'll say, and one is video games.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of grew up loving computers,
and the other.
And the other is Taekwondo.
Yes.
Which I'm sure we'll cover through one of these episodes if I stay on the show.
Right.
As Dave seems to find it really funny for some reason.
I don't know why. I mean, dude, kudos to you, man. It's
being athletic, and you're like,
maybe that's it.
But I think to your point, though, is I think we met through our mutual friend, other Joe, but online, and I didn't actually meet you in person for years.
Yeah, was the first time we met at Joe's wedding rehearsal? Yes. Okay, that's what I thought.
It would have been at the rehearsal dinner that we met.
That was, he's been married for 10 years now, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. But I had been gaming online with you for, I think, 2 or 3 years prior.
I've known you that long?
I think so, man.
Kind of weird, actually.
I know. And time flies. You're having fun.
It really does. Yeah. Yeah. So
we gamed online and finally met you in person. You're a lot taller than you sound.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I'm 6'2", 6'3", depending on what shoes I'm wearing. Do you remember something happened at that wedding rehearsal where it is still a common term that we use in this house every time we go out to eat?
The flying Debo?
No. Oh no, that was from the wedding.
Sorry.
Do you remember when the waitress came to me? Because even to this, I've gotten a bit more versed in, the restaurant culture and stuff like that. At that point in time, I really, I didn't know much of anything about, I'm not trying to sound like I was dumb, but I was ignorant to a lot of that stuff. And the waitress came to me and she's like, "Do you want the key lime pie or the tiramisu?" See, I just almost did it again. And I didn't know. I'm like, I don't know what either one of those is. And I'm like, I'm looking around, everybody's looking at me because she was going down the table and I felt the pressure. And I'm like, I'll have the tiramisu.
The tiramisu.
The tiramisu. And you and your wife, pretty much everybody directly around me, laughed at me and made fun of me for calling it that. I got confused and just made up a name. Kind of combined them.
And actually, I think that at some point, one of us needs to try to attempt to make a tiramisu.
I don't think that would be good at all.
I don't know. I think the coffee would clash with the key lime flavor, but I don't know. I'm gonna ponder this. I'm gonna make a side note here.
Actually, speaking of desserts,
speaking of desserts,
we were watching a TV show, and for some reason, like every once in a while, I'll be watching something, and something I've heard 1,000 times. For some reason, in that moment, it like I questioned something about it, and somebody ordered some creme brulee at a restaurant, and I'm like, "What's brulee?" I'm like, "Is brulee? Is that burnt? Like, does that translate to burnt?"
baked, scorched, torched. Yeah.
Yeah, loose translation is scorched or burnt. I looked it up. So when you order creme brulee, you are ordering burnt cream.
Yep.
Sounds so much fancier the other way.
Oh, you say anything in French and it sounds, it sounds cooler.
Oh yeah. You're like, can I get the creme brulee?
Merde de chien à la gravier is still dog poop and gravel, but it sounds
cooler. Sounds great. Yeah, I would eat that. I'd order that. Oh my God. Oh, did you ever see that? Oh, here we go. Did you ever see that Key and Peele skit?
Oh, there it is. I think this may be the one thing I knew about you first and foremost, because almost every night we got on. Did you guys see that Key and Peele sketch? Well, you did. I've watched Key and Peele because of you. I hadn't seen it previously. And until you started lacing every conversation, like the start of a Seinfeld was with you. Which is like, instead of the stand-up bit, it's like, hey, you guys ever see that Key and Peele sketch?
Right.
It's like, oh, I must be talking to Dave.
Yeah. It was actually the one where Jordan Peele and his girlfriend in the show, they were going out for a French dinner or something like that, and he was lying to her and saying that I can take care of this, I can order for you, and she's like, well, I'll just default to him. She's like, he's the expert here, and then the waiter just started rambling off all these French cuisines and stuff, and he started looking with this idiotic look on his face and got up and he's like, check please. It was really funny. But anyway, that's off topic a little bit. But yeah, so what do we actually have planned for this show, Breeze?
Well, you're going to put it on me. All right. Well, we have a few things. One is I was going to share a fun little anecdote about when I was in high school in northwestern Pennsylvania. And actually, this came up because we were talking about me getting behind a microphone, and I had a friend growing up.
Oh, that's right. I asked you. I said, "How?" So, what kind of experience do you have talking into mics? And you actually have. You did, which is
I have a very unique experience, which we can get to, and then we're going to talk a bit about a series that we've both watched recently, which is Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to cover a life hack. I think you were going to share with us, which I'm very interested in hearing about.
Oh yeah, it's my SodaStream life hack.
Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing that because I have no context beyond that, and I'm looking forward to understanding because I have a SodaStream finally. I got one last year.
Oh, really? Oh, perfect. Oh, really? Okay.
And yeah, exactly.
They are gaining popularity.
For sure. It's interesting how long it's taken, but we'll get into it in a minute. And then we also wanted to cover the national days of the upcoming week. So as we all know, there's national days for everything. So I figured it'd be fun to give our listeners a preview of what they should be doing and what they should be celebrating in the coming week.
Yeah, we may not have to pick out all 7.
But, no, for sure not. Oh, actually, there's more than that. But
we'll pick 14, 20, 21 of them maybe. Like, was there like 2 or 3 per day?
Usually 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah. So, we'll just kind of pluck out the ones we think are most interesting.
Oh, yeah. The fun ones for sure.
By we, I mean you, because you were going to have it in front of you.
I do. And then we've got some weird news to share if we have time.
Yeah, there you go. Look at you, man. Look at you. Taking over.
More like taking notes and reading.
So what was before we get into the Fallout series, which if you're not familiar, it is based on a video game. It's on Amazon Prime. We will talk about it here shortly, but it was so good. So good. I want to talk about that life hack right now. Just kind of get it out of the way.
By all means. So, and then
I want to jump into your story with with your experience with microphones, Breeze.
Alrighty. So you make it sound like it's much more interesting than it is, but moving on. Let's hear about.
I am excited about this.
I want to know how to use my SodaStream properly.
You started telling me this story, and I made you stop because I'm like, I have to hear it live on the show, so I don't know this story.
Okay.
Anyway, so the SodaStream life hack is, again, the SodaStream is the home gizmo that you put a CO2 canister in the back, and you put your bottle in, carbonize it, and pour in whatever flavor you want. Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, root beer. They have tons of different flavors. Do you have like a go-to flavor that you like?
Honestly, we just make soda water. We just carbonate the water and chill it as such, and we keep a carbonated bottle of water in the fridge. So if you want to make something fizzy, you can just add it to anything. So we'll do that, and my kids will add orange juice for fizzy orange juice or whatever. So that we don't do the flavors at time of carbonation. We do the carbonation first, and then add and mix it with whatever we want to mix it with later.
Okay,
and
yeah, we don't do it that way.
Water. Yeah, well, that's fair. I think most people do have additions to it. But
we have a little cupboard full of different sodas and flavors and stuff you can add to it.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, that was its inception, right?
Yeah,
that was the whole concept.
Yeah.
So tell me more. Tell me more.
I will. But yeah, so the idea behind the Soda Stream for us was convenience, really. Like when you want a soda, like it's right there. It's on hand. You just put, like I said, water in it, carbonate it, add your stuff. You got soda. And those little bottles that you find for the flavors, they'll make like 9 or 10 liters per bottle. So initially I'm like, okay, there is a cost savings with doing this at home, minus the initial investment. But what I started realizing was that the most costly part of this contraption is the CO2.
Absolutely.
So you have 1 pound container of CO2 that you stick in the back, and to buy it brand new is like what, like $32, $33, something like that?
Around there, 30, 35, I think.
Yeah, they're not cheap. I'll say that. There is a refill option. Mm-hmm. Some Walmarts you can take your bottle into, and I think they'll give you like a $7 or $8 credit, like a gift card. And so then you only pay like $25, then you can go use your gift card in the store, which still, I mean, $25 for a refill, better than $33 for a brand new one. But I found a hack. Are you ready for this, Breeze?
I'm a little terrified because we're talking about highly pressurized CO2 in a canister, and Dave's like, I'm going to hack this. Tell me, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yes, the frugal side of me is like, there's got to be a cheaper way to do this. So I started doing some research, and I'm like, oh, duh. I'm like, this makes total sense. They actually make a fitting you can put on an actual like bigger CO2 tank that you can refill your CO2s right at home. So minus the initial cost of going to a gas place and buying a tank, when you fill up, I bought a 20-pound CO2 cylinder and had it filled with CO2. That cost to fill a 20-pounder was like $32, which is
like the same price as the 1 pounder.
Exactly. So you can get, and it doesn't fill up to exactly a pound. So I did the math. It's around like 40 refills you can pull from this one container. So literally it's like less than $1 to fill up your own CO2 at home. I'm not sure if there's any dangers involved. It seems pretty straightforward. If you're not comfortable with it, maybe it's not the best idea. But I got one. I have it. I already filled up one of my CO2s here at the house. And yeah, dude. So that's my hack. They also make another option too, which you can buy a 5-pounder, and you can buy a hose that hooks up from the 5-pounder, which you'd like hide under your cabinet or something.
Oh, so you would still keep it in the kitchen and just run the line right to the Soda Stream.
Yeah, which would require you actually like poking a hole through wherever you run, like have it sitting at.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess.
Yeah,
I love how this is basically the textbook definition of escalation. Is you bought a Soda Stream so that you could simplify the process of making soda, and now you've bought a CO2 can that's bigger to simplify the process of filling your CO2 can. So I'm very curious as to where this goes. Like, are you going to get like an air compressor so that you can fill up the 20-pounder by yourself?
No.
And I've just given you an idea, haven't I?
No. I'll just take it back, dude. Because like literally like 40 refills.
Oh, you go anywhere, fill those things up, those big ones.
It's going to be, but it's also going to be like probably longer than a year. So I'm only have to take that thing down there.
CO2 will be a long time.
Yeah. So, call it like a little over every 15 months, maybe. I'll have to drag that thing down and get it refilled. Like, that's nothing, dude. Like, and for the cost savings, is insane. So there you go. That's my life hack for the day. A legit life hack for any of you soda streamers out there.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Buy a bigger canister.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm also wondering too, like why? Because you can't just go get those filled up at places like that. Why don't they offer it? Like, because like I said, it's still $25 to get it refilled at Walmart, in air quotes. If those gas companies, if they set up something in their store that said, hey, we do soda stream refills for like $10, like they'd still make a huge, like 90% profit.
Hey, you know what? There's a side hustle for us.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that.
There we go. Just set up a little soda stream refiller.
Yeah, there you go.
There's probably a reason why no one's done that. I'm sure it's probably got lawyers involved. Is my guess.
Probably. Yeah, probably. So, all right. Well, let's get into your story, man. I'm really excited to hear.
You're building this up quite a bit, but yeah.
No, I know. But so kind of set the stage here. What were you doing in front of the mics? How'd you get there?
Yeah. So I've always I actually was in theater a lot in high school. And so I was used to being on stage, and I was used to not necessarily the boom mics that we're using now, but like lavalier, pocket mics. And I don't know, I enjoy performing to a moderate degree. And so radio was kind of a natural flow for a lot of us, especially those peers that I had that were really big into performing. And one of the guys I went to high school with actually did an internship at a local radio station. And so he was, that intern, right, that they pull onto radio shows in the mornings, back in the day, right? I don't know. I haven't listened to FM radio in ages, so I don't even know what the current experience is of that. But back then, in the late '90s, early 2000s, that was the thing. And after graduating high school, he actually got a full-time job at that radio station and became a radio personality. He's actually out of the West Coast now, still doing radio personality work and MC hosting and such. So it's cool. He made a career out of it.
Do you think that is there still do people still do that aside from the normal, like up next we have, Celine Dion. Do they still have talk shows on FM?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, a lot of them went to the big syndicates, right? You have your Bob and Tom and stuff like that, where they have big syndicated things that the radio stations will pick up and broadcast in the mornings. I don't know. I don't know if FM studios still have a radio personality in the morning. That used to be a thing.
I remember we used to have one around here. It was like Steve in DC. That was syndicated as well. And did you ever listen to that one?
No, I didn't.
I just remember the guy. I think it was Steve. I don't remember Steve.
Your name for the show, then?
Yeah, but his voice on the show was so crunchy from all the processing they would put over his voice. Dude, it was almost unlistenable for me.
Oh,
it was horrible. But anyway,
definitely some things we all have misophonias for, where it's like a certain sound we can't handle.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I had never even heard of that show. So he was working at the station, and he had actually had the full-time morning slot at one of these stations. At the station he was interning at, he had actually stepped up into that role. As such, we were still in high school. He was a year ahead of me, and we were promoting a theater production that we were doing. And we were doing, I don't remember what it was that year. It's irrelevant. But he had called us on. He had had us on the show. He'd hosted myself and another person who was in the musical with me, and was just, asking about the show, talking it up, and a little bit of a promo spot, right? Well, he came up with the idea. He's like, it's always so absurd that people in musicals just start to burst out into song in the middle of nowhere and apropos of nothing. And apparently he just did this to us live on the radio.
Uh-huh.
So what I did here was I wrote alternate lyrics to a few of my favorite things from Sound of Music, if you know that song. And he rewrote the lyrics and tailored them towards country fair, which for those who are out northwestern Pennsylvania.
Please tell me you remember some of these lyrics.
I wish I could remember some of it. I remember the refrain.
Okay.
And I will with you in a minute.
All
but
right,
he set this up live, because so what we're going to do is we're going to send Joe down with the station's cell phone, which granted, this was, 1999. So I've got this chunky cell phone, and they had me drive my car to the local country fair and stand outside of the country fair and sing his rendition a cappella of "These Are a Few of My Favorite Things." So instead of the refrain, which is These are a few of my favorite things. It was all this and more at your country fair store. And he went on and listed a whole bunch of things that you would find at a country fair store. And I am singing this in the front of the store. I walked in the store. I said, "Hey, I'm from this station."
Oh, at least you prefaced it with that. I didn't think you were totally psycho.
No, they did. Well, they probably did anyway. But yes, that was me. That was my first real experience with a radio station. It was interesting. It was very, very weird. And I wish I remember more of the lyrics. If I could ever get a hold of him, I wonder if he still has it, because he's the kind of guy who might actually.
Wow. Dude, okay, first of all, I'll never make you do anything like that. But
I'm old enough now. I don't care.
That's true. But do you are the looks that you got, are they like burned into your memory, like from people? It
wasn't really burning in. It was pretty much what you expected, right? You kind of look, but it was clearly so hammy that people thought it was just kind of enjoyable. Like, it was like random. It's like sometimes you see those people who are doing things that are odd, but they're not like problematically odd. You're
how into it did you get?
Pretty into it.
Okay.
I have to kind of amp myself up to sing, because as your listeners now know, I am not a great singer.
Oh, don't shortchange yourself.
That was, oh no, this is a fact. Ask my wife.
Like, were you projecting through the store? Like, were you really going for it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, that helps you sing better. If you actually throw your voice and project, it helps. If you keep it real quiet and tight, then your vocal cords actually don't do really what they're supposed to do for singing. So yeah, I find if I have to throw, if I'm going to sing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you sound like a seasoned singer there, Breeze.
No, hardly. Mostly karaoke.
Oh,
mostly
yeah,
karaoke.
Dude,
yeah.
When was the last time you did karaoke?
It's probably been about
right.
2 years ago at the neighborhood block party.
Okay. Now, are you one to like grab a hold of like a new song, or do you have like your go-to songs from like, the 90s?
Yeah, I have my go-to songs that are within my range. Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Okay.
Is one that I like, if a bit long, and the instrumental break makes it a little awkward when you're singing karaoke, because there's a pregnant pause there where you're like, okay, waiting for the instrumental.
Yeah, I would do Metallica songs. They always had these long, long sections of the song where it's like just lead guitar and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's why we love those songs, because there's really talented musicians in there. But odd karaoke. But the other one I do love is Ice Ice Baby.
Oh, you do Ice Ice Baby?
Oh, I love that. That's one of my favorites. And plus, it's because it's rap, so I don't actually have to carry a melody.
Yeah, a dope melody.
Stop, collaborate, and listen.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's awesome. Do you know all the words like beat for beat? Like, you can just pound that song out?
Yes, I can.
Like, you're not tripping over yourself?
Nope. I'm pretty confident. That's one I've actually embarrassingly rehearsed. I do.
Oh, like in the car before you get there?
Oh yeah. I started doing that when I became a working professional, and like, you go out and you go to a bar and there's karaoke, and so I wanted to have that standby. Some people practice their golf swing when they become professional. No, I'm practicing.
Right.
I'm listening to Vanilla Ice on my.
Yeah, embarrassingly, I actually walked out of the bar one time.
Were you there when I was singing Vanilla Ice? That's why you walked out, I'm sure.
Oh, no. I would have definitely stuck around for that. But no, like I had a song coming up that I had put in, and I hadn't done it for a while. So I left the bar, went outside with my phone. And this was I think it was even like my iPod. And I queued up the song and listened to it so I could kind of remember like some of the words.
Oh, yeah. See, you care too.
I do. Yeah. I do care. Yeah.
Get behind the mic. You take some pride in your work. I like it.
Yeah, a lot of my songs I would always kind of lean to, somebody with like a bit of a gravelly voice. Like I would embarrassingly do, a lot of Creed songs, Nickelback, some Metallica, Default, even some like E178. I know I'm missing some other ones too, but
E178, huh?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, what's wrong with E178?
Nothing. I didn't expect you to say that one. That's I was going to ask you what Nickelback song and then make a joke, be like, it doesn't matter because they all sound the same. But
no, they don't.
I'm going to get a sample of that infamous one where it's the same song.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm not a diehard Nickelback fan, but I don't think that the hate for Nickelback is justified.
No, I think I'm actually with you. I'm not a super fan, but I'm not.
Me neither.
Detractor. I just like to jump on that joke bandwagon sometimes.
It is funny. I will make a Nickelback joke as well, but You know, like
yeah, do.
I think what bugs me is when, you know, when somebody mentions the band and they're just like automatically like, oh no, not Nickelback.
Oh, they just dismiss it out of hand. I'm like,
I'm like,
you know,
but
there's
why?
a reason I've heard of them.
Like they actually have some good music out there.
For sure.
Yeah, don't hate just to hate.
For sure. For
Like,
sure.
Hate with, you know, make an educated hate decision. So, all right. So the good story though, dude. I kind of want you to do it. Maybe next time you're over here, I'll write you some new lyrics for something.
Write me some new lyrics for something. We could do our own lyrics. We could pull a Fall Out Boy and redo We Didn't Start the Fire, you know.
Yeah. Oh no, we'll go back to a country fair, but this time we'll do like instead of country road, we'll do a country fair.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we're like country fair.
Oh, I like this.
Make a sub. So I don't know. it needs some work.
We've already lost the rails here.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god. All right. So what else? I'm looking at the list here. What else were we doing?
Amazon. We were going to talk about Fallout.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, like I mentioned before, I can't imagine anybody listening hasn't seen some kind of an ad or banner for Fallout. If you've already seen it, good for you. Just hang in there. We won't talk too long on it. But if you haven't seen it, I would definitely 100% recommend it. I saw the preview and I pulled up the trailer with my wife because I wanted her to see it and decide if she was interested or not. And by watching that, she was like, okay. She's like, it looks interesting. She's like, but I never played the video game. Like, neither did I actually. Like, I never played it. And
actually, neither have I.
Yeah, like I knew what it was.
Which is weird. Everyone's shocked. Like, wait, Breeze, you've never played? No, I honestly never picked it up.
Right, I know. Yeah, like all the games we play, we never played Fallout. But so I told her too. I'm like, well, I've never played the game either. But I'm like, it just still looks really interesting to me. And a lot of the video game movies and shows, no, there are some bad ones, but a lot of them now really do a good job of kind of pulling in the audience that has really no clue of where it came from. So there's not like tons of stuff that you really need to know to enjoy the show. So I wanted to give it a chance. And so we watched the first episode and I looked over to her and it was done. I'm like, well, are you in? Like, do you want to keep watching it? She's like, yeah. So it's actually really good. So, which I was surprised. And we binged it in like 3 days. Like we couldn't get enough of it. How far along are you?
I am 3 and maybe 3.5 episodes in. I set out to watch 2 and I just kept watching. So it definitely has it is a very engaging plotline, unquestionably. And again, never having seen the games. And I think one of the things and I'm committed to not spoiling absolutely anything. I have a few anecdotal comments that I want to make that I just found funny about the universe. But
we can at least mention what the show's about.
Yeah, I mean, it was I guess like a primer on Fallout is the concept is an alternate timeline, right? Alternative history, wherein the Cold War escalated to the point of nuclear Armageddon,
right?
Effectively, right? So that's that. But the vibes and the technology and the society really hasn't evolved beyond 50s era. But by that I don't mean like we're stuck in the 50s. It's 50s era. But also what the 50s era perceived sci-fi to be.
Yeah.
So everything is like the highly rounded robots, like if you ever watch, War of the Worlds kind of thing, or it's all that vibe. Everything's got a really curvy, really shiny kind of, especially like heavy, like almost stainless steel aesthetics everywhere. So the aesthetics are stuck in the 50s. Some of the sensibilities are stuck in the 50s in certain populations, but you're in 200 and some odd years post nuclear apocalypse. And
yeah, but then in this world, they, I'm not sure what the company was called, but
Vault Tech.
What was it called?
Vault Tech.
Yeah. They prepared for the worst, which was, nuclear apocalypse. And they had built like 100 or so of these underground vaults. But these vaults are massive and they house like 100 people in each vault or something like that. And that's where the show, like, that's kind of where it starts, where people live, they're all underground, and through certain circumstances, one of them decides to go above ground. And that's kind of where the show really takes off.
Which is where every video game takes off as well.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's and it's not really spoiling or anything. Obviously, you see her walking out. All the promo art is her
outside. Yeah.
A giant vault. So, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always consider non-spoilers to be, if it's in the trailer, we're not spoiling anything.
Exactly. Or if it's on all the promo art. Yes, absolutely. What I do want to know is I want to know what little battery packs power their little wristband Pip-Boy things, because I want those batteries for my Xbox controllers. That's all I'm going to say is like,
it ain't double A's.
Last forever. And I'm like, wow, you know what? Whatever tech that is, that's the low bar I have for myself. I'm like, I just want good battery power. Can I get that, please?
Yeah. Like I would like those for my camera.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I just don't want to have to change the double A's that frequently. I had to laugh at that. Wow, what is powering those little things?
Yeah, kinetic energy. Just the move.
Oh yeah, must be it, right?
Yeah,
swinging your as you go. There you go.
Isn't there a wristwatch that does that?
Oh, probably.
The Fossil watch, is that how it works? No batteries, it just does this thing.
That's if it does, I believe you. I didn't even think about that.
I thought that existed.
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it was from a sketch.
hey. It could be. But yeah, so yeah, if you haven't seen Fallout, I would definitely check it out. Now,
yeah, it's a very good show. I would preface, the only thing I would preface is it does get gory's not the right. Yeah, maybe it is the right word. There's some point. I wouldn't eat it during your lunch break. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I still don't even think it was like that bad. That wasn't like super over the top.
Bad. There was a few moments where I was like, I wish I weren't eating right now.
Oh, see, I don't remember those parts. Maybe I'm used to it, but yeah, I think it's great though, dude. Just everything. The main lead, the girl, I can't remember her name, but she's great. She did a great job.
Well, the character name is Lucy McLean, which I always, every single time they say that, I think to Die Hard, because that's the oldest daughter's name.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. Die Hard. Yes, exactly.
Oh,
yeah. If you go back and it sticks in my head, and I hear and I forget the actress who plays not Shirley MacLaine. Shirley MacLaine's an actress. I forget who plays his wife.
Oh yeah, I can't remember her name.
I heard, but she's like, "Well, hello, Lucy McLean," when she answers the phone in the movie. So that every time she announces, she gives her introduction in Fallout, I always think about. I'm like, oh, and so in my mental universe,
where that was her daughter, they're tied together somehow.
That's John McClane's daughter in my mind. She's actually the unknown daughter of superhero.
There you go, superhero. Actually, I had a couple other mentions that we don't have to dive too deep into. I watched. Or wife and I and Grace, we watched The Fall Guy last night with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt.
I've heard good things.
It was really enjoyable. Yeah, I didn't know exactly what to expect. I kind of got the gist from the trailer, but it had a good story. It was fun watch. So highly recommend that one as well. And,
all right, I've got one too. We'll go ping pong back and forth.
Yeah, what do you got?
We finished watching on Hulu Death and Other Details.
Okay, I have not watched this.
It's definitely like a TVMA version of like a Poirot murder mystery.
Okay.
On a confined space, someone dies, and there's a detective on board who needs to. It's like Murder on the Orient Express. If that was a movie from a while back, but that concept, but like TVMA, so it's much more fun, I should say, and enjoyable. It's a really good series. It's got Mandy Patinkin, which many people may not know by name, but if you've seen Princess Bride, he's Inigo Montoya.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right.
Yeah. Homeland. He was in Homeland as well. He's a very good actor, and he's really good in his role as the detective. So it's a really, really good intrigue. Again, hard to stop watching it.
What's it called again?
Death and Other Details on Hulu.
Okay. Yeah, I might check that one out. All right. My turn. I have another one. This one got a lot of bad press. Terrible reviews. I found it to be okay. It's Madam Web.
Oh, it's another one I heard of but have not watched.
Yeah, it was. I will say this: I liked it, but I didn't like it for the same reason I didn't love the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. The antagonist in the movie was obnoxious to me, same as Willem Dafoe's character in Spider-Man.
Oh, that's right. You and I differ on that because I kind of liked Willem Dafoe.
In Willem Dafoe's defense, in Spider-Man, I liked him as as Willem Dafoe, like as the human being. But when he turned into the Green Goblin, oh, I couldn't stand him in that.
Oh, okay. All right. Who are you allowed to disclose who the primary antagonist is? I'm not actually familiar with the Madam. I know Madam Web as a DC comic property, or sorry, Marvel property.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't come at me, nerds. Please don't.
I don't know the guy's name. I didn't really recognize him. The girl, Madam Web, she was in like some of the 50 Shades movies. I'm not sure if it was all of them or like one of them or what, but she was like the main girl in one of those, or all of them maybe. But
I've never seen it. So
yeah, she did great in that movie. The other supporting actors, the like 3 girls in the movie, they did really good. It was just that one character, man. I didn't like where they went with that with him. Rather annoying. But yeah,
I tend to like some of the Spider-Man universe stuff. That's one of my favorite Marvel properties. So I'm kind of curious about that. I may pick that up and maybe we can compare notes and we'll see if the antagonist. I haven't heard any of the mudslinging around it either. I just see it advertised, but I didn't really. I don't know. I didn't have my finger on that pulse to hear the frustration with it.
Yeah. Well, I don't check it out. See, we'll report back to us.
Okay, I have homework now.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to National Blank Day.
National Day. So, coming up this week.
What is National Day? Who makes National Day? Who makes these decisions? Like, you just submit them to a board?
I think so. There is a national calendar, at least a website. And now I don't know what kind of authority they have, maybe a self-imposed authority, but in some of my research, I did find that they do actually take sponsorship. They're like certain days are sponsored by.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, and this one might actually come up here, I think, if we decide, or maybe it's already passed. Oh, yeah. So National Rotisserie Chicken Day is brought to you by Boston Market's Restaurant.
Okay.
So they have the sponsorship there. That was June 2nd. So
what does the sponsorship get them?
Apparently a national day, right? I mean, awareness.
So they can sponsor the day to call it something.
I think that's what it is too. You're right. It works in your favor, right? It's almost like lobbying, I suppose.
Yeah. So wait, does the day ever change, or once you commit yourself to this sponsored day, is it like in perpetuity? Like, does it never end? Like, you just have to sponsor it every year?
Oh, I have to think some of the sponsorship probably expires. I'm sure there's like a licensing deal where June 2nd is going to go up for auction in a couple years. Who knows? Then we'll have to do a whole nother show on this.
No, we don't need to.
No, we don't really. That was boring. Now bringing to you the Gen Extra Sleep Aid.
Yes.
As we talk about boring stuff. But this coming week actually has some really interesting national whatever days.
Yeah, what did you find that was some interesting ones?
So June 3rd, we got Chocolate Macaroon Day, which is macaroons, if you're familiar with a little French, almost like a fancy Oreo.
Okay.
For lack of a better term. It's got a really light outer fluffy kind of shell to it, and then a cream filling.
I do enjoy those.
Yeah, they're good. Okay, so on Tuesday, June 4th, is National Hug Your Cat Day.
Who sponsored that? Humane Society. It's got to be.
Not all of them are sponsored. I should say that. Not all of them are. Some of them are just popular, I guess, zeitgeist, like things that have, because national whatever days have existed for a while. I don't really know.
National Hug Your Cat Day.
Hug Your Cat Day. And I have a cat. I don't really think she wants to be hugged.
No. Dude, these are weird.
I also like to call that Natural Get Your Face Scratched Day.
Yeah.
That's what that is for me.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Now, Wednesday might be my favorite on this because it is National Moonshine Day.
Ooh, okay.
So I think that is a day to celebrate, probably, considering, it's moonshine. I've never made moonshine. But
no, I've never made moonshine either. I used to buy it illegally, of course. And
did you say legally or illegally?
Illegally. It's all illegal. But I had a friend of mine that I worked with, and he would go down to West Virginia like once or twice a year. And when he would go down, he would, like, in our department, he would kind of just walk around like, hey, who wants some, going down this weekend, who wants some shine? And you could buy a gallon of it for like $100. So I bought a gallon a couple different times. and I would use it to make like apple pie moonshine. And
Okay.
it was amazing. It was so good. It really had an interesting flavor to it versus like Everclear that you can buy from
And
the
that's
store.
where my mind always goes is to Everclear, just because of the alcohol content. Right?
Well, Everclear now in the great state of Pennsylvania is only like 76 proof or something like that. It used to be like 90 something.
95? So
Yeah, it was
90,
high.
90, yeah, it was insane.
Like you could dump it in your car and go.
Well, I used to spit fire with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was impressive. And that would suffice, when I couldn't get my hands on the real stuff. But yeah, so I don't work there anymore, so no more access to that. And they lowered the proof of what you can buy in the store now, so you just gotta do with what you got.
Yeah, that reminds me of like absinthe, right? Absinthe at its core,
Yeah.
crazy, and had wormwood and all this stuff. And obviously, then they toned it down. You can buy absinthe on the shelf, and it's like, but it's not the same. But that's okay.
Yeah, what they called? There was like a name for that when you got drunk on absinthe.
The Green Fairy?
Was that what it was? I don't know. I just remember there being a term.
There was a hand-drawn green fairy on the bottle of absinthe. And so there was a hallucinogen of that. I don't know. There probably is a term for being drunk on absinthe, but
Would people hallucinate? Like on...
Well, there were hallucinogens in the original formulas.
No kidding.
It wasn't just alcohol. That's actually why it wasn't available and legal in
so
a
they're
lot of
dumping
places.
some like LSD in it or something.
Who knows, man? It's the French.
It's the time, dude. Like all the
Actually,
elixirs you could buy.
Oh yeah, that's true. Goodness knows what people were ingesting at that point.
Cocaine and heroin in the elixirs.
It's true,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
Coke, right? I mean, we still have the leftovers of things that have been toned down and sold to the mass market, as I literally have a can of Coca-Cola sitting right next to me. National Applesauce Cake Day on June 6th, which is Thursday. Now that...
What the hell is applesauce cake?
Okay, good. I was actually going to ask you. I don't even know what applesauce cake is.
It must be, I would assume you use the applesauce as your like water, perhaps. Like maybe it makes it like super creamy.
As your liquid. It looks in the shape of like a bunt.
Okay.
So like coffee cake might be. So it's
probably very gooey.
I would think so.
Yeah. It probably doesn't set the same way as a cake would. Listen to us.
Yeah, probably not. I know, right? I've watched Great British Baking Show. Have you?
No.
Then the Friday is National Donut Day, which apparently is the first Friday in June. It's a rolling National Day. National Donut Day this Friday. So if you're feeling like celebrating the National Day and want to bring in some donuts or just go buy one for yourself, apparently that's the day to do it. I don't know how many chains are going to be offering any specials on National Donut Day, but
maybe.
That rounds the week out. Now, as a kicker, on Friday, June 7th, also National VCR Day, which reminded me of your last conversation with Chris on the last episode about selling electronics, home electronics.
Oh, yeah.
VCR Day.
National VCR Day?
Yeah, June 7th, this Friday.
Nobody has taken that off the table yet.
Nope. National VCR Day.
Like VCRs haven't really been on the shelves for people to buy.
No.
Like as far as any kind of quantity in, probably at least 15 to maybe almost 20 years.
Do you have any VHS cassettes in your home, Dave?
We have some really old ones from like home movies.
Okay. What are like retail?
Oh, no, I don't think we have any.
I have one.
Oh, there you go.
It is a still in the shrink wrap.
Oh, really?
Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Really? That's got to be worth something, man.
I don't know, but it's still I've kept it because it's still in this shrink wrap. I'm like, you know what? I haven't opened it yet. I'm not going to open it now.
It might not be worth much, but it's going to be worth something.
On magnetic tape, I'm sure it'll have a half-life. It'll, deteriorate into nothing, but who knows? I mean, people are selling, Nintendo games for
hundreds of thousands. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hundreds of thousands in some cases.
Well, certain movies, though, Joe and I talked about this a while ago about VHS tapes and the resale value of them. If they are shrink wrapped and like brand new, dude, some of them go for like a lot of money. I don't know if the Michael Jackson Moonwalk would, but it might be worth looking into. What would be the price you would be like, all right, I'm totally gonna sell that? Like, how much does somebody have to offer you for that?
Oh, probably only a couple $100.
Only a couple hundred. I think it's like $20 and it's yours.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it takes up no space, right? If it were something that were taking up space in my house, that would be different. Oh, there's one selling on eBay for $100.
There you go, dude. You're getting there. Hang on to it for another 10 years.
You just keep, it works just like a 401k. So,
Yeah. Just keeps building value.
Well, there's a graded one, must be sealed and everything. It's $450.
Oh, dude, there you go.
Wow.
There you
Okay,
go.
this is just going to be my retirement fund. I'm just going to hang on to this Michael Jackson Moonwalker tape until I'm old and retiring. I'll be like, okay, now I'll sell it.
How old
I'll
is
get
that tape? It's got to be from
like
like the
$5
80s,
for it.
right?
Yeah, it's probably 30 some years old.
All right, so in 30 some years old, it's potentially worth about $400.
At most.
Yeah. So at retirement age, maybe you're looking at 500 to 600.
There we go. I'm set.
Yeah, and that might buy you groceries for the week.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe at that point.
Buy me a gallon of milk.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh my god! All right, so what was that? I'm sorry, I'm looking through my list here. We actually have enough time to punch out our weird news. Did we do everything else on here we're going to do today?
Yeah, we did.
All right. Well, I tell you what, man. Because I love it, I'm hitting the button. Here we go.
From all across the world, there are stories to be told. The strange, the bizarre, funny, freaky, the abnormal, and extraordinary. Grab your beer or pour some booze. It's time for the Weird News.
Yes.
The weird news. I love it. This is my first weird news intro. It was so cool hearing that.
Yeah, it's still cool hearing it. Yeah.
So who's going first? We each brought one weird news story.
I'll do mine because I want to end with yours.
Okay.
Because yours is different than mine. Mine I found online and thought it was funny. Yours you found down the street.
That's true.
Which we will explain here shortly. I don't know the story. I just know kind of the gist of where you got it. So, all right. So the story I found is on apnews.com from Manchester, New Hampshire. Is that where Manchester's at?
There's a lot of Manchesters.
All right. Well, we'll go with that.
There's one in Britain.
Yeah, I don't think it's that one.
You don't know.
It does mention they called 911, so I don't think it's 911 over there. It's probably like 711 or something.
I think it's 999, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. So it says a woman. Oh, let me give you the article here, or the title. Woman tossing trash falls into dumpster, survives getting compacted in garbage truck. Woo, buddy.
Whoa.
This is nightmare fuel. All right.
Oh my gosh.
So the article says a woman fell into a dumpster while throwing out her garbage and was later rescued from a trash truck that had compacted the contents while she was inside. Fire department official said, okay, luckily neighbors heard her screams and the trash compactor or the trash compactment was equipped with a camera. Wait.
And what's that tell you?
Oh, compartment.
If I interrupt, what's that tell you? It means that they put a camera inside the trash compactor for exactly this reason, which also leads me to believe when someone puts money at something, this is not the first person to get stuck inside of this part of the trash compartment. That's terrifying.
I mean, I guess that would be, I don't think they're looking for humans. Like, I don't think it's that common. I think they're just looking to see how well they compacted like the last couple loads of garbage, really, in my opinion.
Oh, see, okay, you went to a more logical place here. Meanwhile, I'm thinking of like that scene in Star Wars where they're in the trash compactor.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but you know what? That your explanation is way more reasonable than mine.
But the next line here does say they're not staring at this camera for like extended periods of time or that often. It says the driver spotted the woman stuck inside and called 911. By then, the driver had reportedly compacted the garbage up to 4 times.
Oh my gosh!
He just smashing her. Now, the lucky part for her, she did survive, by the way, was that it's just regular, household refuse. It's
not industrial stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's not like steel and metal and, like it wasn't things that could, there could be things in there, but the chances are not as good as if it was, full of steel and crap like that. But yeah, so she did survive. They had to get this ladder out and help her get out. She went to the hospital, and she was okay, thank goodness. But could you imagine, like, so she fell into her garbage can, and
I can't. I'm trying to piece together how this happened.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at this poor woman's misfortune, but she's fine.
Yeah,
she's recovered.
You see like legs like flailing out of the top of it. She's upside down.
This and like with many weird news stories, I want to know how we got here. Like, I need the cutaway in the television show which says 48 hours earlier. Like, what series of events led to this woman
Well, what I'm guessing is
falling into a dumpster?
I would assume that she wasn't in there for too awful long. So I'm guessing. Or did it say garbage can or?
It said dumpster. So
okay,
my guess is that she was throwing trash in there, fell in. Maybe was looking to retrieve something. I don't know. You ever throw something out? Maybe something like your car keys fell in.
Oh yeah,
fell into a dumpster. And then the terrifying part is, it's probably one of those dumpsters where they friggin' forklift that thing.
Oh yeah,
up and right. So that experience had to be terrifying in and of itself.
It had to be big enough too, because we have a 2-yard dumpster here on our properties. We don't have regular garbage service, so the garbage truck backs up. But he comes out and he pops open the lids, and you can just look right inside of it. So this one, she's in there scrambling about inside, all the garbage bags, and she just hears that dumpster, that beeping coming closer.
Oh, terrifying. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm glad she survived, but my God, that would be horrifying.
I'm going to have to like stop thinking about this, because this actually does tap into a lot of like my ways to go. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, oof. All right.
Let's jump into your story.
I got a palate cleanser for us. So yeah, so as we talked about, I moved about 8 years ago to the greater Cleveland area, and since then I've shifted areas, and now I'm in the I'm in the Shaker Heights city, which has become infamous with the was it Little Fires Everywhere?
Yep,
right? It was the name of the book,
HBO show. Yeah.
Series, yeah. So yes, that author of that book is actually from the city I live in now. So I have come to learn in the past couple of years. The story is about 1.5 years ago, that my neighbor, one street over and a few houses down, was in this story and showed up on Weird News. So I will just go in blank with the title. Ohio dad calls police after getting locked in chicken coop by son.
Okay.
Let that settle in there. Yeah. So this is a retired U.S. Army paratrooper and medic. He's a cool guy. And he had at the time, his kid's a bit older now, but at the time, his 3-year-old son was helping him out. He keeps chickens. He has 8 chickens in a chicken coop.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in the coop tending to the chickens. He used his key to unlock the pad for the chickens, left the key in the lock, swung the door open, and while he was in there, his 3-year-old came out, closed the chicken coop door, relocked the door, and removed the keys.
Trying to be helpful, perhaps? I don't know.
Or just, playing with locks and keys like kids do.
Yeah.
So he apparently worked with his kid for, I think it says, about a half an hour, 45 minutes.
I'm trying to get the keys from him?
Trying to teach his son how to use, his 3-year-old son, how to put the key back into the lock and turn it the right way. And then couldn't do it. And it was just, and so he had to end up finally, fortunately for him, he did end up having access to a phone in this modern day and age. But he did try, but he ended up having to call the non-emergency line of the fire department to get assistance. So he must have been pretty cool and calm about this. But considering this dude was a paratrooper, this probably didn't faze him very much. But yeah, he got locked in his own chicken coop by his 3-year-old. And the firefighters had to come and cut the bolt and get him out. So he spent a little while getting to know his chickens pretty well.
Wasn't the kid just stand there with the keys?
Kinda. I guess that his account from the article says that he was trying to use the lock, and his dad told him to put the keys into his pocket. At which point he promptly dropped them in between some rocks.
Oh.
And so the keys, yeah. I mean, he's 3.
I'm surprised he didn't like call his neighbor or like a buddy. Like he went right for the fire department.
And maybe if you're in the forces, you just immediately are like, you know what? it's just me and my son. I'm just going to go right to it. Maybe he didn't know his neighbors that well at the time.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I actually don't know how long he'd lived there when this happened, but I thought it was hilarious. It just happened right around the corner from my house.
Yeah, although it would be, I don't know, I mean, would it be embarrassing? No, it wouldn't be that embarrassing. It'd be funny.
I think it is. I mean, he got interviewed for the news piece, so
I'm sure he's probably laughing all the time about it.
Again, this guy's seen active duty. I can't imagine this is anything too terrifying for him.
That's true.
I probably would be a little bit less comfortable because I don't particularly care for chickens. They're tasty, but they're not my friends.
Yeah. I have a chicken coop story that I can't share on the show. I'm not sure if you ever heard it.
But we're not going to share it on the show.
No. If you know, you know.
No, I do not know this one. I will say that though. But there is. So you haven't been to my place, so you don't have any visual context for it. But it's a residential city. So, but there is a neighbor who's close to me who actually has 2 chickens and at least 1 duck.
Like free range chickens just kind of run around.
Yeah, like in the backyard. And the only reason I know this is because you're walking around your backyard, and it's a heavily residential area. And all of a sudden, you hear this quacking, and I'm like, and you think you're going crazy.
Yeah,
you're hearing like quack. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then a chicken chimes in, and they talk to each other in the afternoon on nice days. They will literally just squawk back and forth at each other. It's really weird.
Where is it?
Oh, the duck.
Do we have it somewhere?
I don't know.
Oh,
I think it might be gone. There it is.
I found the quack button.
It actually doesn't sound too far off from that, to be honest with you, except for just louder.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we've tried to have ducks out here before, just, because there's a little pond out back. And they usually live for like a little while, but they just inevitably get eaten by coyotes or something.
I thought about how many predators you must have out there.
Yeah, you just come out one day and there's just duck stuff.
It's just duck stuff.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I guess they're all dead. Yeah, it
sounds like you did take up pillow making or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, right. Yeah, so as much as we would love to have ducks, it's just a death sentence for them, so we don't even get them. But yeah,
probably for the best.
Probably for the best. So, all right, man, we actually reached our mark for time. We pulled off a real show, dude. Congratulations on your first show.
Thank you, first of many.
Yeah, where's our clapping? Where's our applause button? Do you have one?
I keep putting the soundboard down. I'm not used to this.
There we go. Yeah. All right, man.
Really apathetic clap on there. That's a lackluster clap.
Yeah. So we will. Yeah, I guess we'll leave you on that. And yeah, thank you guys. For being patient while we got the show back in order here. And yeah, hopefully we see JoJo on a future episode here soon. And Breeze, I will see you on here next Monday.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. Have a donut on Friday, everyone.
Yeah, buddy. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.
Peace.